All right, gang, welcome in. We're going to talk a little bit about Stephen A. Smith and what he had to say about the New York Jets, some of the criticisms and just some of the conversation. I want to give you guys my thoughts. Let's hop into the clip and listen to what was said.
Issue with the New York Jets. Do they have the pieces to go all the way? I'm not so sure. I'm not going to say definitively yes. One of the reasons is because we don't know if Smith's going to be healthy, like you said, when it really counts. We don't know.
So one thing to point out, we don't know if Tyron Smith is going to be healthy when it really counts. There's not really any standing for that because he has been injured, but he hasn't missed the ends of seasons. Like, he's been there for the playoffs and whatnot. So he has been healthy when it counts. He just hasn't been healthy on the intermittent parts of the season. So you might see 13 games played, but like it's one game throughout a season. In that case, I am a little more comfortable in spot starts with Carter Warren, not in the like season-ending injury capacity. So maybe a little context there. He's not generally missing the when you need him games, but he has had injuries.
If Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy, okay.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers, we don't know if he's going to be healthy. Again, like, I understand that's like a big if, but to see how poorly the Jets quarterback position has been played the last 3 years with Zach Wilson, like historically bad offense, it's hard to envision any version of Aaron Rodgers being worse than that, and the Jets were a 7-win team with that type of offense. So purely just from Aaron Rodgers coming back, even if he plays at like a bad average level, I think the Jets are going to be a really difficult team to beat in this league.
We don't know these things. Breece Hall came back last year nicely, but had a nasty injury the year before, which brought his season into question, which is why the Dalvin Cooks of the world and others were on the squad when Breece Hall first got back last year, okay? So
I'm not really sure that has anything to do with the Jets' futures at, potential Super Bowl run. Breece Hall had an injury last year. Will he bounce back? Are you trying to claim that maybe he's not going to continue that bounce back? Because I tend to feel like with an improved offensive line and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Breece Hall's going to be going for 2,000 yards. No questions asked.
So that's one component. Here's what I'm going to throw at you, Dan Orlovsky. You know, when you listen to people talk about the New York Jets, you know that they say that Nathaniel Hackett with Robert Saleh, oversaw the worst offense in football. They're talking about how rudimentary it was, how pedestrian it was, how really there's no innovativeness whatsoever. There's a lot of questions. And they lamented that the only reason that Nathaniel Hackett is there is because of Aaron Rodgers, that they needed to upgrade when it comes to him or what have you. Now, I'm no fan of his as a head coach, but I'm not qualified to critique him but so much for his work with Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers to me is one of the greatest ever. And so if Nathaniel Hackett had something to do with that, he deserves credit for that. But in the end, when you're looking at teams talking about the Jets and the Jets offense, are you not concerned that the personnel from a coaching perspective really shaping the framework for this offense is not going to be up to snuff against opposing defensive coordinators and head coaches plotting against them?
So I actually think he's got a pretty decent point here for the second part. The coaching staff has been a concern for Jet fans, whether you're talking about the GM, the head coach, the offensive line coach, Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator. Jet fans have had a lot to say about the coaching staff. Now, I will say this. Aaron Rodgers won 2 MVPs with Nathaniel Hackett as offensive coordinator. I am very not concerned about Nathaniel Hackett being the OC as long as Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. Now, if you want to see the offense doesn't have a whole lot of excitement or anything like that, that kind of lends credit to the Athletics report of the Jets didn't know what to do once Aaron Rodgers wound up getting hurt. They just threw their hands up, and that's kind of what Jet fans saw all last season. And Nathaniel Hackett definitely did not do himself any favors last year. But Zach Wilson and how poor he was able to play the last 3 years, and the not being able to throw within a certain timing. We were able to see the offensive line start to gel a little bit together when you had maybe the ball coming out a little bit faster from Trevor Siemian. I do get the concern with Hackett. It's not so much with Hackett that I'm concerned about. It's more so like, I guess, just the overwhelming vibe of it. Like, it could be a little bit on Aaron Rodgers. It could be a little bit on Nathaniel Hackett. Keith Carter is definitely a question mark for me. Like, I'm afraid to develop any offensive lineman or think that we can develop offensive linemen when his other offensive linemen from past years are all basically throwing him under the bus. Taylor Lewan, Mekhi Becton, that sort of stuff. So I don't know. The coaching staff side of things, absolutely a concern for the New York Jets. I think it's going to be a problem. at some point, whether it's we challenge something we shouldn't be challenging, or we go for it on fourth down when we shouldn't be going for it on fourth down, or we make some kind of questionable playing time decision for players that are on the roster when we are catering more towards an Aaron Rodgers buddy, like if Cobb comes back and he's getting way more snaps than maybe a more talented player behind him. I think that's the sort of stuff that we have to be a little bit more concerned with. But as long as we have the players, we have Aaron Rodgers at the helm, and you're just returning the rest of your team, I'm really not concerned. I don't think Tyron Smith is a huge injury concern from a lose the season type perspective. But if you lose him for 3-4 games, are you okay with a Carter Warren or someone else filling in an emergency for those types of situations? So guys, let me know, what do you think about Stephen A. Smith's criticism of the New York Jets? Do you think we have what it takes to get to a Super Bowl? Or do you think, we're still a little bit of the ways off? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets. Jets. Thank you guys so much for hitting the like and subscribe button on these videos. It goes a long way towards growing the channel. And then occasionally I get sponsors like this. So if you want to help support the sponsor of the channel, or maybe just get yourself some cool gear or some good discounts, you can click the link in the description down below. Today's sponsor, 𝐶𝐻 is going to give you 25% off your order using promo code JetsTalk. Link in the description down below. They've got gummies, THC syrup, THC seltzers. I just discovered these things. They are incredible. As someone who has been trying to cut down a little bit of their alcohol consumption and not, maybe feel as crummy the next day, this has been a godsend for me. Keep me nice and calm, cool, and collected, especially with all the hurdles that our Jets throw our way and all the headaches that we got to deal with as fans. So if you guys want to help support the channel, maybe get yourself a little bit of a discount as well. Support the sponsor of the channel, 𝐶𝐻. Thank you so much for watching the show.